Welcome back to the first hands-on section of this course, Hands-on 1. In this section you're going to be installing the Arduino development environment, learning about how that works and making an LED light on your Arduino blink for the first time. You'll need three things. You'll need your Arduino Uno board, a USB cable and your laptop or desktop computer. So let's take a look at the Arduino website and download the software that you'll need to install. First we'll head to the arduino.cc website. Make sure you go to the .cc domain and not one of the others. And we can head to the download section. Now you have some choices when you come to install on your Linux machine. Here we're using the latest Ubuntu version. The instructions will be slightly different if you're using another flavor or version. So what we're going to do here is we're going to download a tar file with the Arduino software in it. Some of your package repositories may include a version of Arduino, but it's possibly an older one. And so that's why we're going to do it this way. Now, as that's downloading, we can also take a look at the Getting Started section and the Linux section of that. Now, there's some examples on the Arduino Playground of a user-contributed documentation to install on the different versions of Linux. And so if we take a look at the Ubuntu section, there's some information there on installing different approaches, specifically the repository approach, but we're not going to use that because, again, the version there isn't as recent as what we want to be using. So instead, once we've downloaded the file, we're actually going to take a look at another site which documents how to install the Arduino IDE in Ubuntu 12.04. So there's certain requirements that we need to install from the package manager or the software center, so we're going to go ahead and select those for installation now. We need to include the GCC compiler toolchain and the support libc library for that, and then also the OpenJava implementation. So let's go ahead and select those for installation. And put in our password. And that will install. So while that's happening, we can also look to install AVR libc. And finally, the OpenJDK. So the Arduino IDE is written in Java. And so we can install that. And we can keep track of the progress. And finally, the Java install. Okay, so now that it's finished the Java install, we can exit the Software Center and carry on to the next step, which is connecting our Arduino. So we want to connect one end of the USB cable to the Arduino and then the other end to a USB port on your computer. Then when you do that, you'll see the green power light turns on, and then you'll have this light here blinking slowly. So next, we want to open up our download of our Arduino environment. and go ahead and extract the content. Okay, now we've got an Arduino-1.0.1 file, or if there's a later version that you've downloaded, that'll be slightly different. And then we can take a look in there and see that we also have some additional folders and an executable. So let's go ahead and run that now. So once you've done this, you will have the IDE open up, and you can go ahead and choose File, and we'll pick up one of the examples. The Arduino IDE ships with a lot of examples, and the one we're going to open is the Blink example. Now at this stage you want to make sure that you've got the correct serial port connected and the correct board selected. So the board is the Arduino Uno, so that's correct, and then we want to pick the serial port. Now with the latest update 1.0.1, there's actually a slight bug in the default install, so we can't actually do that. So we need to quit out and then run the Arduino again so that it has access to the serial port. Now there's two ways of doing that, and we can see them documented in the steps at the bottom of this page. So you have two choices. You can either run the IDE as a super user, or you can add yourself to the dial-out group. We're going to run the IDE as the super user for our purposes here. And we can verify that we'll now have access to the serial port. So go ahead and open up the Blink example. That's File Examples Basics Blink. And then we want to make sure that our board is correct. So we've got our Arduino Uno, and then that the serial port is correct. And so it'll be something like /dev/tty ACM, probably 0. So once we've done that, we can then choose to upload it to our board. So it'll say that it's compiling the sketch, and then these LEDs here will blink as the sketch is uploaded, and then you'll see that your LED here will blink.